I've never seen something look so beautiful.
Hey guys, Good Marks Goods here, and thank you guys for continuing to support my channel. Today we're looking at part 2 of a deep dive on a box of silver plate and coin silver that I bought from an associate of mine. In this installment, we're going to look at a form of flatware invented in France called Baguette. I spent a whole lot of time trying to understand what I'm looking at and whether or not it has any value. It's going to be in-depth and kind of tedious, but I hope you guys stick around. Thank you. So I've been able to make this one out. Hopefully I can find more of this pattern or this maker, because this is Armand Frané. Frané. This one seems to be the most valuable maker. They're going for $20, maybe $15 to $20 each. Need to find more of this one. I don't think I found very many of those. So what I ended up doing with all the French silver plate. Okay, I ended up looking at each piece individually with a jeweler's loupe to try to figure out the marking, because we can't really see it with the naked eye. Look at that marking here. You can't see anything here. Why the French did that, it's so weird to me. French are strange people, man. Since I haven't mentioned this yet, I shouldn't assume that every viewer on my channel is familiar with silver plate and how they marked pieces, but when we're looking at numbers on the pieces like 84 or 16, remember that denotes to a standard plating set, or like a standard amount of pieces that this number of grams of silver was plated over. And the online sources that I've been able to read, they seem to indicate that standard was 12 spoons and 12 forks. So something like this 84 gram marked tablespoon, they would plate 84 grams over 12 spoons and 12 forks, which, if we look at the math here, isn't that around 3 grams a piece? 84 divided by 24 in total. 3.5 grams is the plating that's supposed to be on a piece that's marked 8.4. 84 grams. Now at current spot price, 3.5 grams of pure silver is around, because we're looking at about 90 cents a gram. There's supposedly $3 of silver plated on these spoons, which is not an insignificant amount, but you got to remember that as you use silverware and polish it and clean it, that plating will rub away. So even a piece that is apparently all well put together and the plating is still very intact, you still might have 10 to 15% of silver that has been lost, and probably around 30% until you start to show signs of silver plate loss. At least as what I've seen. A piece like this, the plating is beginning to wear down, but on contact points where the piece contacts the table, or when you are eating, suppose you are using the spoon and your teeth scrape along the bottom when you're eating, this is the area on the bottom of the bowl which will show the most plate loss, and some on the handle as well, because it is the contact point you are making when you are holding the piece. Just a little lesson on how silver plateware occurs and why. No lie. So what they ended up doing is marking their pieces with very small marks in the bowl, and then the amount of plating with a number usually around, I've seen 48 in this box, and I've seen 12, I've seen 18, I've seen 48, 84. Actually, I've seen 84 and I've seen 60. I went ahead and cataloged it all by maker, and how I figured that out is using the resource 9251,000 French silver plate marks. Otherwise, I would have never been able to do this. That resource is a godsend. If you are interested in silver plate, that and replacements.com give me an identification for makers like 90% of the time. It's amazing, guys. I cannot recommend those, the replacements.com powered finder and 9251,000 and database. Good stuff. So the makers are Fredé Armand. This company was pretty well known in France, and they were very prolific, like 60 years of production. As you guys can see, they were using kind of like an anchor and then the initials AF on their pieces. That's how you can recognize it. And I was able to find this line on this resource. The ASCAS, or the Association of Small Collectors of Antique Silver. And of course, when you're looking at online resources and blogs and that kind of nature, you hope that what you're reading is accurate, but you can never be 100% sure. But it says that the word blanc is used together with one or two digits indicating the year of production. A dot at the half height of the line between the word blanc and one or two digits was used. So I'm looking at mine and it says blanc 3, the words blanc and the number. So that to me specifies a production date of 1903. Very, very cool to have been able to date the piece like that. And obviously the dot followed by the number 2 would indicate a production date of 1902. Rue Marchand. So the name Rue Marchand seems to be a very good name here. According to a few online sources, I was able to see that this company was known for its Art Deco pieces, and surviving tea sets done in the Art Deco style can go for thousands. And I've also looked at this set called a Louis 21 silver plate flatware set, and it seems that it's gone for like $500 a piece. I don't know what I'm looking at here. Significantly above estimate, but I don't know if that's what. See, this is hard because it's not Baguette, and it's kind of hard to just say, oh well, these guys sold expensive stuff, therefore the Baguette silverware will go for very expensive prices as well. Kind of difficult to make that correlation, but it does appear that this maker is worth something. So what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna throw these pieces online for 40 each and see what happens, whether or not I get any interest. I might start off with 60 and then see what happens after like a year, because other lots by them, they seem to go for $10 a piece, and it's more along the lines of what I'm looking at, which is basic silverware, and they have a couple basic flower patterns. This is kind of tough. It really is. It's kind of tough. I'm looking at this pattern. This pattern here, it's kind of basic-ish, and they want 395 euros. No, 300 euros for 36 pieces, and it hasn't sold yet. So I don't know how much a euro is compared to a dollar, but it's about the same. $10 a piece. That might be what I end up selling my baguette for. I'm just going to stick it in for as much as I think it's gonna possibly sell for, probably too much, and just see what happens. I'm really flying blind here, and it's a weird situation. That's all I'm gonna say. There's one Christofle. I was really hoping to see more of that, but some Dubois Paris. I also couldn't really find anything on Dubois. This maker is incredibly difficult to find anything else by him. That just happens sometimes. Not all of these makers ended up being famous or well known, and you see that a lot with all kinds of silver plate, actually, where we have markings, but we don't really know how to connect them to a company or a person, or the company goes out of business so fast that there's not very many surviving works by the maker. Some Tessier. I could find almost nothing on the maker Tessier. The literature or existing works are non-existent. I could find a few pieces of actual silver by an Albert Tessier, but that's probably not the same one. And the funny thing is that I can't make this up, guys. I'm not making this up. All of these pieces are in the form called baguette. Yeah, I know, right? French. We called French silverware baguette. Style. Reality is just stranger than fiction. That's so sad, because like the only thing that people know about the French are the baguettes and the croissants and the escargot, and to call this baguette style is just, it's funny. I think it's funny, no, not gonna lie. But yes, all of these pieces are baguette, and a lot of the pieces were marked G. So whoever owned this had a name that started with a G. I would imagine something like Gerard. That's it. That's what I'm going with. The owner of my silver plate was named Gerard. And baguette is super easy to identify. It tapers to a point here. The edge right here is a little bit thicker in the middle. It tapers down. It holds that taper the entire way through. It's bisected right down the middle. Classic form. A lot of companies were making flatware in this form. Even American companies were copying and making baguette. To recap, and the Ferney Armand and the Rue Marquand, they will be priced significantly higher because there is some brand and maker familiarity. Now, here's the thing: there's almost no legitimate antique baguette French silverware being sold on eBay. There's a little bit on Etsy, but they don't seem to have regular pieces like that. They're selling weird things like snail spoons. I'm kind of in the dark here, but I know it's rare. I don't know how much demand for these pieces, because it doesn't come to market every day in America. I don't know what kind of demand it has in France or in Europe, obviously I'm kind of selling to the European and French market because they can buy my stuff from eBay. I've sold stuff that's gotten sent to Europe on a number of occasions, so I'm going to reach that market, kind of, sort of, if they look at it. Maybe their search engines will end up showing my listings on the American eBay site, and they can use their browser's translation page to be able to see my listings. So that's another nice thing nowadays. The world is so connected. That's kind of the general strategy. We'll just shoot for the hip here, and then there's a couple pieces that have the markings quite damaged here, or unreadable. This handful here, the markings are illegible or worn away. We still have the number of number of grams plated, but that'll have to do. I'm just going to try to get anything I can for these pieces, and I'll probably be happy at $8 or so. It's really tough, and I'd like to see how well I do. At the end of the day, I decided that what I'm going to do with my friend here is I'm going to give him $2 a piece, and then we're going to go on a 50-50 profit split. And that's what I think I came up with as a fair price. There you go.